how's it going, guys? Welcome back to October Reads, episode number 3. And this time we're going back to the DC Bronze Age once again with Secrets of Haunted House. So this is one of those series like I've never really heard of before. I don't know too much about Secrets of Haunted House. So just digging through my collection trying to find books to read for this, I figured why not go ahead and give this a read and see what this book is all about. So basically, if you guys read any like the older House of Mysteries and House of Secrets, it's that very familiar formula of a horror comic book, and then you have a couple stories within, and you kind of have your almost horror co-host along the way. So Cain and Abel once again make some appearances in this at the top of the book and that stuff where they're messing around and dude falls off a cliff when they're fighting basically a type star of death over a book of fates. So there's that. But the main two stories in this volume are Dead Heat by Michael Pawlowski and Robert Kanigher, and then the art is by Ernie Chua, which so far the stuff I've read from Ernie Chua, his art is amazing. So this book is no exception. And then there's another story called Fish Story by Jack Olick and Andrew Nino. So we'll go ahead and talk about both of those stories contained within here. So basically, Dead Heat is the first story. It's pretty much the main story of this book. It follows two ambulance drivers, and they have this like morbid game going on where if they save 3 people, they win whatever game they're playing. They have a chalkboard in the break room. They put checks every time they get somebody saved. Sounds great. But the thing is, like, the contest also says if you lose 3 victims, you lose the game. So they also have like an X for people they weren't able to save. And yeah, the game kind of goes on from there. You see them go on their adventures of ambulance driving, and you know, occasionally they'll save someone and they won't save another person. It's not their fault. They're not saving people. They're just, unfortunately, they're not getting people to where they need to be in time. So, of course, it gets to the point where they have 2 people saved and 2 people dead, basically. So they get one last mission they have to go on. So they go on the mission. They go down this, ravine. And what happens when they get there is they come across these teenagers. There's nothing wrong with them, so they call in. It's a false alarm, but they get more details that it was further off the cliff, and there's a fiery vehicle at the bottom of the cliff. So they drive down there, and there are no survivors. There's 2 dead bodies among the wreckage, and they roll over the bodies, and it's them! Oh my god! So that's how that story ends. Kind of your basic style of horror story where somehow they were dead all along. The second story, Fish Story, probably the weaker of the 2 stories in my opinion. It follows this character who ends up, the fish he catches is this big triton, which is basically the same monster featured on the cover. And somehow this triton, he has the ability to take over the world somehow. He never really demonstrates how or why. He does have some mind control he has over his victims, but beyond that, basically, he just goes and grows and threatens to come back and take over the world later. How they beat him is the one main character of this story just lets him go. He's just like, okay, we'll see you when you get back here. So he goes off, he starts laughing, and then the Cain and Abel characters come back and like, how'd you beat this Triton? He has all these powers allegedly to take over the world. How'd you beat him? And he goes, well, he was a freshwater spawned fish, and when he went to have his big getaway, he dove into salt water. So they implied the salt water killed him because he is a freshwater fish. That's how they win today. So overall, pretty fun book. It's always fun to revisit some of the Bronze Age stuff that I've never read before and don't have too much background on. So overall, I really liked the paramedic story. I wish it was just the entire issue was just those 2 guys, because they did have a fun dynamic. However, yeah, it felt rushed because they had to get 2 stories in this. So I think overall I'm going to give this book a 3.5 out of 5. So big thanks, guys, for joining me here on October Reads. And once again, tune in hopefully tomorrow or check out the first 2 episodes on the Rewind. But until next time, guys, thank you so much. See you next time.